Push a P. Yeah, push a P. Turn me up. Turn me up, P. Pointers in the paddock, get my piece. I'm push a P.
Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no peace.
Got a spot across the spot. Just for peace.
Drop the data, now we planting exotic peas.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Uncensored Entrepreneur Show for couples with Eric and Sierra. My name is Eric.
I'm Sierra.
Awesome. So this is the Uncensored Entrepreneur Show for couples. It's where we help entrepreneurs that are in a relationship, that are seeking a relationship, navigate their way through life and their relationship, and basically not allowing the relationship to affect your business or your business to affect your relationship. It's impossible to keep the two separate, but just we basically use our examples of our own life and what we have done and what we have been through to try to demonstrate a little bit about what works for us in terms of communication when navigating or dealing with a multi-billion-dollar business and being in a relationship and having an ass ton of kids and everything else. So using our shit show to help minimize your shit show or reduce the negative impacts of your shit show. So
It's always going to be a shit show.
it is a shit show.
Doesn't
It
always
doesn't
have
matter.
to be bad.
Yeah, like our life is so happy. Our marriage, our relationship, and our business, everything is perfect and blah 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 blah. You're fucking lying. You're lying. And somebody, I will never remember who said it. No matter how many times people tell me, but at an event that we went to recently, somebody said they referred to it as fake book and insta scam, and I've used that like a dozen times since then because I think it's so applicable and so true.
It's like his new dad joke.
Yeah, fake book. Like nobody's gonna, everybody's gonna put the pictures of the green grass, the trips, the happy family, not the black eyes and the tears and the stress and the whatever. Not a lot of people put that. I don't know why I said black eyes.
I was like, does he mean like bags? Because I've never had a black eye. Just so everyone knows.
I wear makeup to hide the black eyes because when we get stressed, she beats me.
Yeah.
So.
I told you not to do that.
I know if you're listening and not watching the video, I was trying to do SOS with my blinking for the feds out there. But anyway, 10918 East. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Send help. So today is a fun little topic, a very important topic. They're all important topics. You're probably going to hear me say that every episode because I think my life is absolutely important, and I want to tell everybody all about my life. Just kidding. So it's about time. It's about spending time together. What that looks like. I'm having some mic problems here. There we go. It's about spending time together. The importance of it, what that looks like. I'm talking with your spouse. I'm talking with whoever you're in a relationship with, your husband, your wife, your kids, your family. Whoever matters in your life. And again, our audience. The show is designed for those who are really in a relationship, so couples who are entrepreneurs, pretty self-explanatory, it's in the title. But I feel like this also could apply to people who own a business, who want to be in a relationship, or they can't find out why, they can never go on a second date.
Find the balance.
But like why everybody's rejecting them, like, it's not them, it's you, and you're an entrepreneur, so you need to figure that out. And then, or for those who are like in a relationship, who are married, who are dating, whatever, and who want to start a business, either both of them or one of them or whatever that looks like. It doesn't matter if the husband owns the business and the wife, is the wife. It doesn't matter if the wife owns the business and the husband is the husband. It doesn't matter if, you both own the business and operate in the business. We speak to everybody involving relationships and entrepreneurs that coexist together. And our very specific example is we both own the company, right? At least she has business cards that say vice president. So, basically, I own the company. I operate the company, rather. We both own it because we're married, yada, yada, yada. But I operate the company, and she operates the household. So that's essentially it. It doesn't mean that she doesn't help, because I try to force her to help all the time. But that's our example, and that's our audience. So family time, spending time together, alone time is very, very important. And I think probably a great topic that we should just dive right into, because we could probably talk for days on it.
Definitely.
A lot of things racing through my mind. Why I want alone time a lot. Not just that kind of alone time, but yes, definitely that kind of alone time. Sierra's winking for our audible people. But I want alone time. I want to spend time with another adult that I, am best friends with. But sometimes I catch shit from her because she's like, well, you never spend time with the kids. So I want both, but how do you navigate that? Like when you're babysitting adults all day, or whatever it is that you do with your business, you're dealing with that all day. Sometimes you just want another adult to hang out with.
Yeah.
How do you make everyone happy, and also yourself? Find happiness yourself. So I think that's very important. It boils down to consistency. Really, it boils down to just doing something.
Making it a priority.
Yeah, you have to start. You have to start somewhere. In my opinion, you will not ever get a pad and paper and sit down with your partner and say, all right, let's figure this out. I'm going to be off work every day at this time. I'm going to make sure that I don't answer my phone. I'm going to make sure that I spend time with the kids at this time. I'm going to make sure that we spend time as adults this time. And, you can come up with the perfect plan that might sound like a beautiful fairy tale.
Yeah.
But the odds of that actually happening
every single
day,
yeah.
or even once,
shit happens.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But the thought is, come up with a general idea, and then try. And if you have to make some tweaks along the way, you make some tweaks along the way. But once you find out what potentially works best for you, just keep trying. Is it always going to happen? No.
We have it on the calendar every week, Friday, date night. Mm-hmm. It's on there for like the rest of our lives.
Yeah, it's like a recurring event.
Yeah, every single week.
Never, when I'm dead.
When we first started it, we were really good about it. And then things happen with the company, we get busy. So there's going to be times when it doesn't always work out, but it's there. We know it's there. And we just have to work on making the week a little easier so that we can make sure we have that time together on Fridays. And it's something to look forward to also. But yeah, sometimes it's not going to happen, and that's life. You just have to kind of figure it out. Mm-hmm. And we also have family movie night on the calendar for every 2 weeks. And then do we have adult family?
Yeah.
Parents family night or parents movie night?
Parent movie night.
Every other 2 weeks.
There's one. Let's see. So for us, and we haven't been sticking to the movie night that much, but for us, I don't know. I think it's like the first Tuesday of every month is family movie night, where we go to a movie theater, and watch some.
Shout out to Roadhouse.
Yeah, it's like a movie. Like we watch a movie that appeases to the entire family, which is basically the 5 and 6 year olds. So whatever freaking animated movie that's on. We get down on some like Moana or something like that. And then
we take up a whole row.
And then the third Tuesday of the month is parent movie night. That's where we can go watch our rated R's and stuff like that.
And fall asleep in the recliner.
pretty much. And then Friday's date night. So the important thing is date night. I wasn't going to touch on that just yet, but I don't want to graze over it. The date night, I forgot who told us about it. It might have been somebody at our church. I don't remember.
Michael Morgan.
No, I think it was Ross. It was Ross, our pastor at our church. So he was talking about it, or somebody was talking about it anyway. So we're like, we got to do it. Like, let's just start it, right? And at first, like, man, parents who never go out and then all of a sudden have like a date night, man, we didn't know how to act.
What do we do with ourselves?
We'd go out to dinner, and it's like a ridiculous bill.
Yeah,
and then,
like something you should only do once a year.
yeah, but it's because we're like, we didn't know how to act. So we're
Yeah.
like a child. We're like, oh, I don't know if this is ever going to happen again.
It's like
so
we have to eat it all.
indulge in all of it.
Yes.
So we'd go out to like this fancy dinner, and then we go do like, we got into escape rooms or panic rooms. What are they?
Escape rooms.
We got into escape rooms. So we do escape rooms, and I don't want to do it with a bunch of strangers.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, like it's gonna be weird. I'm gonna yell at them because they're like
Yeah.
nobody's
Get the
gonna.
fucking key.
Nobody's smart enough, to figure it out. No, like I feel like they should we'll pair you with somebody if we identify that they're on your level. So, alone forever. But we'd do escape rooms, and we got really big into escape rooms, and
Like trying a new one.
we do a different one every time. Yeah, same location, different escape room, or different locations. And it was super fun. And then we're like, man, like I don't want to stop doing date night because it's like $1 billion. And this is really, we started doing date night, I think, when I owned our last company. But I had partners, stuff like that. It was a little bit different. So, not as much freedom, but also certainly not as much financial freedom to do so. So, and that, I mean, you might be in a position where you're just starting out, and you're like, hey, like I'm not making enough to, dude. Don't go crazy and go out to some crazy dinner.
It doesn't
and
have to be something expensive. It's just
make
about
a sandwich
the
and
time.
go sit on a grass hill
Yeah.
and like just stare
Stare
at each other's eyes. Yeah, whatever, dude. Like it's not. The point is like it's a date night. You're away from your kids.
Yeah.
And if you don't have kids, well, I don't know. Like
I don't even have advice for that.
Yeah,
You're
like,
lucky.
go somewhere and get naked together. I don't know. Whatever that looks
Run
like.
around your house.
Like, what do you guys like doing? You know what I mean? Like if I don't have kids, man, it's so weird. Like because we've had kids for so long, and like if I don't have kids, I would never have on clothes.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. I would have on clothes, but I would never want you to have on clothes. Gosh, I need clothes on. But anyway, so point is, date night is astronomically important. So you don't think it is, and if you do, you're smarter than I am. So maybe I didn't think like whatever. Like we'll try it. Why not? But when you come to realize that it's literally the only time that you have in your life where you can guarantee that it's just going to be you two doing different things that each other enjoys, doing things that trying new things, whatever that looks like, it's pretty cool. It gives you something to look forward to. And it also gets rid of the feeling of like, man, we never spent time together. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why I made the comment in the beginning of like if trying to find the like how I always want alone time, and we don't do date, and she's like, well, you never spend time with the kids, like that comment. So maybe that's why I made that comment, is because like, to be honest, we like haven't been prioritizing date night lately because we've been so crazy busy with the monsoon season and stuff like that. And rivers technically, typically tend to get busy during monsoon season. So maybe that's why that comment came from. So it's date night is astronomically important because it guarantees the fact that you're going to have alone time. If you're given something on a consistent basis, you're less likely to crave it or to need it, or to idolize it, mm-hmm. and you're more likely to just be happier in your relationship. It's a time where that you get to just spend one-on-one time with your spouse, or whoever you're in a relationship with. Now, so I highly recommend date night. Again, I don't care if you're going to, some bougie steak dinner and, whatever, like do something purposeful. Mm-hmm. Spend time together. Don't just go to dinner and come home. You can eat whenever. If you want to go to dinner as part of the plan, cool, go for it.
Put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, like just be there, like with your spouse and just spend time with them. No work shit, just whatever. Whether it's a couple hours, every Friday or whatever day works for you. I don't know. We just picked Friday because at the time,
for us.
yeah, at the time we were broke, and that's when payday was. So we're like, well, literally, this is a conversation we had now that I'm remembering. We strategically put it on Friday. We didn't want Friday because Friday is like everyone's
Busy.
date night.
Yeah, everyone's busy.
But we're like, yeah, but if I wait till like Tuesday, like we might be out
we
of
might
money.
not have money by then.
So we literally put it on Friday to
Ridiculous.
ensure that we had the funds to be able to fulfill. Like we were trying to overcome every obstacle that potentially could have stood in the way of date night.
Yeah.
So date night is huge. Highly recommend it.
Or date morning if you guys have to do it in the morning. If you guys have different schedules, or and it doesn't have to be like a long drawn out date night. Even if you guys are just running an errand together, if you guys, because I know for me, like going to the store,
That's
kids.
no.
Well, I know you said it needs to be purposeful, but if that's all you can do right now, anytime alone together where it's just you two getting to talk, I think
Grocery
that's still
stores
important.
don't count. Don't listen to her. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking
It's
about.
just my fantasy that he'll come shopping with me,
No.
so I don't have to go with kids.
Go, like, throw a blanket on the grass and fucking eat a piece of bread together. I don't know.
Okay,
Like,
that's a
don't.
better example. It doesn't always have to be something.
Yeah, don't make it be a chore. Don't make it be a task. Don't make it be something that you have to do anyways. Like, so may as well just have you tag along.
Yeah.
You know, because then you're both gonna get distracted and you're both gonna go on about your own, checking social media, checking emails, whatever. So, but yeah, get on date night.
Just edit that part out.
No, I'm letting everybody know what you said. But also, so what's the other thing? So family time too. Family time's important. And I think if you have a consistent date night, you're going to have a consistent family time and vice versa, right? So you have to make everybody happy. So if you have kids, family time is important. I'm horrible at that. I still am horrible at that. There's so many other people, entrepreneurs that I follow and look up to that I'm like, man, like they're freaking killing it in the dad game.
How do they have time for that?
Yeah, like I don't. It's just again, there's no balance. It's all just time management. It's just prioritizing things, whatever. So, for me, I try to handle as much of the business stuff as possible, and then whatever minutes in between, So here's what I tried, and I need to get back into it. Is I was like I tried to come up with a reasonable time where I can stop work. Right. And so for that time, for me, it was 6 o'clock. And then I don't mean for the day. I mean for a while. Right. Was it 6 or 5? It was 5.
Yeah, 5.
I was going to be home at 5, put my phone on Do Not Disturb. The kids get out of school at 3? So from 3 to 4, they do homework. Or they do free time, whatever, hanging out, whatever kids like to do, Fortnite and shit. And then from 4 to 5, they do homework. And then, if I get there early, I can help them with homework, whatever. And then from 5 to like 6:30, I was just going to hang out with them. Do whatever. Like yesterday, I walked in. Sierra wasn't home. We don't have a pool. She got like a little pool for the kids. And I don't know why, but I was like, it was hot. And I was full ass closed. I mean, like, some nice Jordans, the whole 9. And I was like, I'm going to do something just to make the kids laugh. And also for social media. See, that's what being an entrepreneur parent is. Doing something your kids are going to laugh at and you're spending time with your kids, but also filming part of it for social media for your business.
Multitasking.
Yeah, so I just walked straight into the pool. Right up inside it. Still hoping my shoes, that's what she said.
I was going to say it, but I was like, nah.
Still hoping my shoes make it out alive. But yeah, so that was my plan, and then 6:30, we have dinner, and and then maybe like hang out or watch something or whatever. I forgot the specifics of it. It shows how much I really dove into it, but. And then the point is that then they eat dinner at 8 o'clock, and then, dinner was like 6:30 or 7. They go to bed at 8 o'clock, and then, from 8 to 10, I'm working again. I'm wrapping up my emails. I'm getting done the stuff that I couldn't get done. I'm prepping my day for tomorrow. I'm going on my exercise. I'm doing my Marco Polos. I'm doing whatever I got to do. That was the plan. My plan still is to like be home for dinner. That evolved to like, hey, just be home for dinner. Not home like in the house or in the zip code, but
like here with
like
us.
downstairs. Yeah. And so I think for the most part, I'm getting better at that. I'm good at that, but it doesn't always happen. So like last night, for example, I was super stoked for dinner because it was like one of my favorite things, and then Sierra actually cooked for one, and so second day in a row, we're on a roll. But
Shrimp tacos.
I just couldn't get off the computer. Just some things were happening, some phone calls, or whatever, late night stuff, and you know, so she texted me a few times. Are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming? And, you know, I wasn't even seeing the text because my phone was on Do Not Disturb because I'm, like, prepping, right? But then, like, once I look at my phone and I start, you know, looking at the screen and start seeing things on it, and so it's some things that I had to address. And so it doesn't always happen. You know, as an entrepreneur, it's not like, hey, I got a bunch of fires right now, but I'm going to let them burn until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, you still got to handle your shit. You got to find out what fires will be okay to burn until tomorrow, and then let those burn until tomorrow, and just put out the ones that you have to put out, or that you can put out, you know, that are within your control right now. And then circle back to it the next day. But, you know, so she was texting me, and you know, I wasn't responding because
Then
I
I
was
started yelling.
back to back. She was yelling, yeah, and then she gave up because she realized, like, okay, well, obviously something's going on.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, he can't come. Obviously, he's busy.
He would be here if he wanted, if he could. He would.
I didn't really want. I was sitting up here playing fucking solitaire, and
if he could, he would be down here. So.
yeah. So, you know, and I handled my shit, and I went down there, and I was like, did everybody eat? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, cool. So I just sat there and ate my cold ass fucking shrimp tacos by myself. And then whatever, you know, but that's, you know, it happens sometimes. The idea is, like, it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to, like, figure this perfect plan out. Eventually, right? Eventually you come up, you know, you're established, you've been in business for a while, you get a team. But even then, sometimes, like, something might call your attention to pull you away from what you're doing, you know, and that's cool. I think, you know, it's just trying, right? So shit happened last night. It prevented me from being able to do it. But I'm gonna try it again tonight, you know, and
that kind of applies to me, like, as a mom. When I like you said, when they come home from school, they do this from this time to this time, and then this. Like, my goal is to have them come home from school. They get like 15, 20 minutes, chill out, have a snack, whatever, and then they need to get their homework done immediately, and then they're free to relax for the rest of the night. That way, homework's done, out of the way. That's my plan every single day. It has yet to happen because I can't ever, you know, things happen. As soon as I walk in the door, things start happening, and there's 4 kids that I can't keep track of to tell them to sit down and do their homework. By the time I get them to sit down, I have to go get the other kid. The first kid's gone. So it ends up to where you just have to wing it sometimes. But, oh, I lost my train of thought. It just left my brain. It's coming back. That's what's going on in my head right now.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just consistency. It's trying. It's making sure that you just put your best effort in. I mean, shit's just not perfect. You're gonna.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say how, like, Ella ended up doing her homework in the car this morning. So
Yeah.
like, that just goes to show how well that's going.
Yeah.
But once you get more consistent with it, it'll be easier. And since he's been getting better about being done by dinner time and stuff, the kids have, if he's not there, the kids have now started asking, is Dad coming to dinner? Is Dad coming to dinner? Which before they just never did because they knew he was working.
It's like a weird stranger man sitting with him at the table.
He would sometimes he would have to eat his dinner in the office. So, but now that the kids have seen it, and I'm just like,
and the kids too, like, what's, I don't know, kind of cool and kind of fucked up at the same time. Like, Oliver, he's our youngest. He's our son. He's 5.
only boy.
He used to come up to me when I'd be working in the office, and he's like, literally, he still does. now it's a little bit different. So he would come up to me and he'd be like, Daddy, are you gonna eat with us downstairs or are you gonna eat with us up here? And I fucked up one day, not knowing what his response was gonna be. And I was kind of busy, but like I wanted to eat down there. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do, buddy? He was like, I want you to eat up here. And I'm like, oh, like that's fucked up.
But why?
You know, but I was like, oh, well, why is that? And he goes, because I want you to be able to finish your work. And like part of it, I don't know, you can look at it both ways, right? And I still do, because I don't know where his head's at. He's fucking 5. He doesn't know what the fuck he's thinking. So, but part of it, I was like, man, like, what a sweet boy.
He's considerate.
Like this kid is like, he knows the value of what I do. He knows the reason why I do it, and he knows what it does for other people and for our family. And, you know, how nice. And then the other side of it, I'm thinking is like, man, like, fucking kid don't want to hang out with me. He's like, leave me alone, Dad. Now I'm starting to kind of feel like the reason why is because I have a rule. You ever have, like, as a couple, rules in the house? Like, so say you're the operator of the company and you have rules in the house, but then you're gone all day, and then your spouse doesn't enforce these rules or even go by them herself. Does that ever happen to you? Is that just me? So we have a rule.
The only one.
That I'm guaranteed. If this is you, email us, questions@uncensoredpodcast.com. So like there's a rule, there's no tablets at the table. And this is because we have like our traditions and I want to talk about that. We have our traditions, we have our whatever. Like we go out to eat, right, with the family, and you know, our kids, they don't know how to act, and so you know, we in their youth would say like, here, play with this fucking tablet, you know, sit down, shut up, and now we don't want them to have the tablet. You know, we want them to learn manners, learn respect, and learn how to act in public.
Time at dinner with everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now, I think the other day he asked me, I was like, well, I want to eat downstairs with you, buddy. Like, is that cool? He's like, Dad, are you going to eat upstairs or downstairs? I was like, well, I want to eat downstairs with you. I was like, is that cool with you? You know, I want to spend time with you. Like, I'm trying to then put it in his head, like, you know, and hoping that it's because he thinks, you know, he's just being sweet, and that letting him know, like, hey, I love you, I want to spend time with you. And he goes, oh, he's like, but I want you to eat up here. And I thought he was going to say, like, go on about the same thing. I was like, oh. I was like, all right. And he goes, but I want my iPad at the table. It's because he knows his fucking mom is going to let him have the iPad at the table because she's going to be busy in the other room doing other shit.
Yeah, so it's not that I necessarily let them. It's that I'm busy doing other things, so I'm not even realizing that he has the iPad.
So he knows what he can get away with.
Which I know that I need to get better about.
So basically, all this time, I'm thinking like, oh man, my son is such a sweet, considerate boy, and really he just wants his fucking iPad.
I've been getting better about it. He knows that he just needs to hurry up and eat. And
yeah. So, but family time, it's important to spend time. It's, you know, you just have to have intentional time. Time with your family doesn't mean like sitting at the table, eating dinner with them, but like you're on your phone the whole fucking time. You know, it's listen to what they're saying, ask questions. One of my kids she always has this question that she asks everybody. She says, question of the day. As soon as we all sit down at the table for dinner or lunch or whatever, well, I guess dinner, she's like, okay, question of the day. And she just comes up with some random ass question. You know, what was your, what do they call it? Sparkle Farkle. They used to do that. Like, what was the best part of your day and what was like the shittiest part of your day?
Yeah.
And everybody has to go around and answer it. You know, don't bury yourself in the phone, stuff like that. You know, like be present. Like an hour is not going to fucking kill you. If that means you got to stay up later to do your emails or your social posts or whatever it is that you're doing, you know, work on the business, cool.
Let them talk, because it's crazy. Like, if you just ask them one question, it's amazing the amount of information they'll give you. Mm-hmm. And if you just let them talk, like they just want to tell you about their day. And sometimes I'm like, whoa, like I didn't even know that you knew how to say that word.
Yeah.
Like, Oliver will like say these random big words, and I'm just like, wow. It just makes you realize, like, wow, I need to like sit and actually listen and be there.
Yeah. It's not going to compromise your business, but I certainly can guarantee you that it will compromise your relationship with your kids. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're going to not love you, but they will very quickly. And this is what I'm working on breaking with them, because this was me. I mean, I was literally home for 5 hours a day, I'd wake up at 5 a.m. So maybe 6 hours a day. I'd wake up at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. I'd go to work all day. I'd be in the office until 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then I'd come home. And like when I'm home, like I would literally inhale a meal and go right to sleep. And I did this for a very long time, and it was horrible. But it was the grind, right? And I was so like that's just how it was. But you compromise the relationship with your kids because now my kids, it's not that they didn't love me, but I was a little bit more of a stranger. They wouldn't open up to me. They wouldn't. Obviously, I'm not the one that they're going to come to whenever they need to confide in somebody or console in somebody, and they're just used to me being gone. And so it is kind of like, there was a while where one of my kids still does it, where she'll be like, "Mom, could you ask Dad this?" I'm like, "Dude, like you're standing right next to me. Why can't you?" And that's more because she's like got this weird social anxiety.
Yeah,
like,
she does it with
timidness.
everyone. She makes me email her teacher every day to ask her questions.
Yeah. So, but you know what I mean? Like it's your kids are going to get used to you, like not being around, and like it just normalizes it to them. And you don't want that to be normal. You want them to enjoy you, and you want to enjoy them. In seeing them grow up. So family time's important. Date night's important. Alone time. Sex time. Traditions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Traditions and trips. So traditions, whenever you do things with your kids, like you develop traditions, right? So there's a few things that we do. Like, so we used to live across the street from a coffee shop, and partially because my wife, needed help in the mornings getting the kids up for school. And so, and then I was looking for consistent ways to spend time with my kids. And I read in a book, I think it was Sell or Be Sold. It was one of Grant Cardone's books that how he's like, I wake my kids up like friggin' 5 a.m. And he's like, and I take them to a local coffee shop with me and they have coffee with me. And the reason why I wake them up is because he's like, it's my schedule. This is my schedule. This is what my schedule allows. I never know what time I'm going to be home. I never know when I'm going to be done with work. I never know, their schedules and their school and stuff like that. But the one time that I know that they're home and that I'm home is 5 o'clock in the morning. So I wake them up and we go get coffee together, and that's our thing, our father-daughter thing. And I'm like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. And so I woke up all the fucking kids at probably 6, and we went to the coffee shop. They opened at 6. We went there across the street, and we did Bible devotionals. And I'd get them all like chocolate milks or like some kind of coffee thing or whatever, and like a pastry or whatever. And then so boom, like a few birds with one stone. Like they're eating their breakfast, they're getting devotionals in, and they're having quality dad time. And we did this, I remember the second day, literally, again, going back to just try something, and sometimes it's not always going to happen. The second day, I remember my alarm went off. I probably got like 4.5, 5 hours sleep. I roll over to my wife. I was like, hey, you think they'll remember?
Yeah.
And I got a text from Delilah going, you up? And I go, oh, shit.
This child who won't wake up for anything
Yeah.
was awake before him.
She's like, you up? And I was like,
Because she was
fuck.
looking
And I was
forward
like,
to
yeah,
it.
I guess so. And so we that's what we did every morning. We'd go down there and we'd get our little breakfast and stuff like that, and have our coffee. And
And
after
it
a few
helped
times,
me because I didn't have to go through the process of waking them all up.
yeah,
which
they'd
is
come
a
home
drag.
awake, and then it was just like getting
ready
ready
for
for school. So we did that. Another tradition we have is we went to the same place for breakfast every single Sunday before church. It's this little breakfast diner. Hasn't been updated since like 1951. Called Randy's in South Scottsdale, and we'd have breakfast there every Sunday before church, or after church.
Yeah.
Depending on whatever. And this was like right down the street from our house. And problem is, we moved like 40 minutes away. But in moving, we pulled them out of their school. They're in a new school by where we live now.
Having to make new friends.
Yeah, having to make new friends, trying to be consistent with going to that same campus of church. So then we figured, okay, you know what? Like, we have to keep that tradition. It's a little bit of a drive, but it's going to show them the importance of it, number one. And number two, it's also going to put us in that city, which is where our church is. So that's our excuse to continue going to that campus. That way they have at least one old thing still in their life.
Yeah.
Now, that might fade over time, but I also enjoy their breakfast.
Yes.
And they know us very well over there. So every Sunday we get up and we drive 40 minutes away to go eat breakfast at the same place, and so that's like our little tradition. And traditions I think are important for kids, they're important for families. To make sure that you have that consistency in their life, and then, the last thing I want to talk about too was trips. Spending time with your kids, spending time with your family, that's cool. You have to prioritize that. You have to do that. But at the same time, you got to realize that while you're out doing different things, doing new things, fighting fires, whatever it is that you're doing every day for your business, your spouse is still at home staring at the same four walls. Your kids are still doing the same routine. If your entrepreneur thing involves the same thing over and over and over again, then you feel it. But realistically, as an entrepreneur, I don't care if it's, you're still going to new offices, you're making new calls, you're dealing with new problems, you're dealing with stress, you're busy, quote unquote, too busy to take a trip or take a vacation, right? I get it. But one thing that you have to do is prioritize trips. Don't go on a trip every friggin' week, every month. Especially if you're a new business, you can't afford to go on a trip. I don't know if you're paying yourself or whatever you're doing, but you can't afford to go on a trip, much less an extended trip, especially if you're like a solopreneur. Figure out a way to fucking make it work. I don't care if you got a long weekend, a holiday weekend, where all other businesses are closed, that makes it to where you can't work. In that 2-3 days, you better book something and go to the fucking beach or something. Go somewhere. Take the kids
Even
out
like
of
Flagstaff.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, like drive. Yeah,
Like something. Yeah.
just get the kids out of the same four walls and the wife out of the same four walls, because one, and as you continue to grow in your business and you grow, you start paying yourself. You're making a little bit of money. Like, obviously, be smart with your money. Don't compromise, the financial livelihood of your company. But take a better trip. Because what you're doing, number one, is you're showing your wife and your family why you do what you do, why you're gone for so much, why you work so much. And two, you're taking yourself out of that work environment. Now, if you got to be on your phone more because you're gone, if you got to whatever, but find the times to be present, right? My kids and my wife, they love Disneyland. We get season passes to Disneyland. Disneyland stresses me the fuck out because I can't answer phone calls. I can't answer emails whenever I'm on rides. But you know what? You know what it does to a solopreneur? One, you're only going to get so big as a solopreneur. So if you are a solopreneur, I need you to
Get some employees.
No, very, very seriously consider and evaluate your business and what can be done to generate, your generational wealth, which is what your goal should be, and who you need to hire and bring a team in, and at the right strategic times. I mean, deal with business coaches. I mean, I have business coaches. I have life coaches. I have, all kinds of coaches, helping me figure some things out because, maybe not everything that I think needs to be done is the right thing that should be done. So it's just nice to have perspective from somebody else who's done it, right? Don't take advice on how to get your company to $10 million from somebody that's the most revenue they've ever pulled in is, 700K. Yeah. So, find somebody that's doing 50 million and ask them, hey, how do I get to 10? Or how do I get to 50 or whatever your goal is, but take the trip. I don't care. Like, if you can't afford to be away, if your business loses revenue from being away and you got a 3-day weekend, even if you got a 2-day weekend, plan it to where you're leaving, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock Friday afternoon, and you're coming back Sunday night. And I know that sounds exhausting. You go camping, whatever that looks like, because you're driving there, you're setting everything up, running around, trying to see all the sights, see all the attractions. You got this agenda, itinerary, or whatever your spouse comes up with. And then next thing you know, you're packing everything up and coming back. And I know it sounds exhausting and it's not really peaceful or relaxing, but your family needs it.
Yeah.
And find those moments in that trip to just sit down and take some breaths and observe them and watch them enjoy it. We go to cabins, we go to, camping, we go to whatever, the beach, and then, Disneyland. Disneyland's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of time away because as many kids you have, if you go to Disneyland, you got to go to fucking California Adventures. So that's already 2 days, and, you're either going to do 2 days like Disneyland open to close, or you're going to stretch it out and do 3 days. Well, you got to get there a day early. You can't, when they close at midnight, you can't go home. You got to stay the next day. So it's a lot of time. But find the moments in that busy, hectic, crazy, whatever it is that you're doing to like just watch your family enjoying it. Because to me, that gives me more peace and fulfillment than like enjoying it myself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Watching my kids frolic around in the woods from a deck where I'm sitting there drinking coffee, doing paperwork for literally 7 hours. Just me watching them have fun. Yeah. Because they're out of the same four walls does it for me. Mm-hmm. And then even better whenever I close that laptop and I go join in on the fun, then you're experiencing and creating memories and growth in your family. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I think very important topics. I think that definitely make sure that you're devoting time, scheduling time, put it on your calendar, whatever the fuck you got to do to hold yourself accountable to it. I use my calendar because if it's not on my calendar, I'll forget about it or I won't prioritize it. I put an event on my calendar, date night, whatever day of the week that works for you. Making sure that you're spending time with your family if you have a family, kids or anything like that. Whether it's an hour a day, like hour a day doesn't sound like a whole lot. Doesn't sound like, well, it's just an hour a day. It's not like they're going to get anything out of it. They will. They'll get a lot more out of an hour a day than 0 a day.
Yep.
And then making sure that you keep up on traditions. Like if you come up with a family tradition, something that kids like doing that you find yourself doing consistent or whatever, keep up on it. Something
they can look forward to.
Yeah.
And it's also something that you can threaten to take away if they're misbehaving.
And then doing trips, plan some trips. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a lot of trips, but do something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Eric forgot to mention that for every trip we take with the kids to Disney, since we don't get to do exactly what we want while we're there, we want to make sure the kids have a good time. We have an adult trip to Disneyland shortly after. So we get to go for a day or two. It's a super quick trip. Just us. We get to take our time walking around Disneyland, going on rides if we want to. We don't necessarily have to hit every ride because we just did that last month with the kids. So that's really fun too, is that we get to take a trip by ourselves. So I feel really lucky that we get to do that because I know not everybody is able to. And then I also wanted to touch on the importance of date night and spending time together with your spouse because, like for me, it once business comes into your marriage or relationship, it can very easily take over to where it's more business, your relationship, than it is marriage. And I lost my train of thought again. You can become resentful. Not necessarily resentful, but it gets to the point where all you're doing is talking about business every single day. Mm-hmm. And then it comes time to like be intimate. And it's like, well, I'm not really in the mood because all we did was talk about work today and you didn't even give me a hug. Just little things like that, like where, you didn't acknowledge me as your wife. You saw me just as your business partner, and it got that way kind of at the beginning, and that's when I took a step back because we both noticed that it was all business at that point, and that's what I didn't want to happen. I didn't want our marriage to end up being just a business transaction, right. And and then me end up hating the business and then us ending up divorcing over it or something.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to remember to keep your marriage in the forefront of your guys' mind and make it important because the business it can take over.
Absolutely. And you can't, everything just boils down to time management. You just can't spend less time in the business. I mean, you can spend less time on the business. You got to make sure that you handle the business, but at the same time, you have to. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care how burnout you are. You have to stay awake and still provide time to your family and to your wife, and it just has to happen. I mean, you're the one that wanted to start the business, and if you find yourself struggling trying to do that, man, sometimes it's tough. Sometimes you're growing your business. Sometimes you're starting out. Sometimes you got to fight through the trenches. But I still have to get into the trenches every once in a while. But it's coming up with a plan for the end of you digging in the trenches. Come up with a plan. If you find yourself constantly being pulled in a particular direction, doing something over and over and over and over and over again, that's taking up a lot of your time and consuming a lot of time, hire somebody to handle that piece of it in your business. And then that will free up a little bit of your time. You'll fill that time in your business finding other things to do and doing other things because there's always more. And then every time you get pulled in a particular direction and you're finding something that's taking a lot of time, hire somebody else. And at that point, if you develop a solid team and you have a great mission and you have phenomenal core values that you stick by, then at that point, you're then creating a team. And you can get a lot bigger and grow a lot faster or go a lot farther, rather, with a team working with you than you by yourself. Because at the end of the day, one thing you have to give thought to, and this is, I guess, more business related anyway, is if you are a solopreneur, what happens when you die? What happens if something tragic happens? What happens if you develop an illness or an ailment that prevents you from generating revenue? Do you have a legacy? Do you have a team that can go on, with your organization to be able to provide for your family? Or does that legacy / finances / life end with you? That's something that hit me hard as I got injured and I realized, man, like if I work myself like this, one, I'm going to work myself to the grave, and then two, what happens when I'm gone? My family, my kids, they have nothing. So, develop a company and grow your company. Always have that plan, and always have in your mind, like, hey, if I'm struggling trying to find time to spend with my wife, trying to find time to have a date night, then I need to quickly identify what actions I need to take the next step in my business to allow me to be able to do that. So, very important. So, awesome. Well, with that, we will wrap this up here. I know we went a little bit over the normal, but I appreciate you guys listening. Hey, listen, we don't plug the show. We don't promote the show. A little bit of stuff here and there on social media, but if you, we like hearing your questions. If you have questions that you would like, little topics or anything like that, or specific questions that you want us to talk about, you can email your questions at, now if you listen to episode 1 and 2, I've been giving the wrong email, but you can email your questions to questions@uncensoredpodcast.com. Previously I was saying uncensored.com, but it's uncensoredpodcast.com. On top of that, we don't plug the show. So if you are getting any value out of anything that you're hearing here, if it's helping you in your relationship or your perspective, if you're learning anything, or if you identify anybody else in your life that could potentially get some kind of value out of hearing us talk about our shit show of a life, then tell them about the show. You can hear us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at the Uncensored Entrepreneur Show for Couples. And you can also catch the video full-length episodes on our YouTube channel at the Uncensored Entrepreneur Show on YouTube for Couples on YouTube. Sorry, the Uncensored Entrepreneur Show for Couples.
Yes.
And that's about does it. So thanks for listening, and show some love and spread the word if you're finding value in this. And we will see you guys next week, where we are going to talk about some more of our little shit show of a life here. So again, we're using the experiences in our shit show to help reduce the negative impacts into your shit show. So thanks for listening.
Push a P. Yeah, push a P. Turn me up. Turn me up, P. Pointers in the paddock, get my piece. I'm push a P.
Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no peace.